Hi everyone, it's the UKManicLoomer and I'm here today to show you how to do this fabulous bracelet called True Confessions by the new designer of Loco Karama. Now I've already done one of his before and he's asked me to do another one, which is fantastic. And it so happens that when I saw this on Instagram I would totally fell in love with it straight away and knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. So I'm so pleased that he's asked me. Let me just pull up. See if we can get that expanded out a bit. So there you go, that's the True Confessions bracelet, and if I scroll, that's another rendition of it. I think originally he was going to call it the Every Shade of Blue bracelet, but he's changed his mind to the True Confession, which I think's so much more better because obviously that allows people to use as many colours as they like. So it is a 7-pin bar design and the pins are all level with each other. So you need to go ahead and do that before we start, and it's not a high tension bracelet. As I always say, bracelet to the best of your abilities and you really just can't go wrong. Okay, so you go ahead and do that, and when you're ready we can get started. Okay, what I fortunately forgot to do was show you a couple of my renditions as well, which I always do a couple or one at least, get the feel of the bracelet, get the stitchings, and so I can teach you the best way I can really. And this is the very first one I did, and I used 3 colours, turquoise, pink and purple opaque, and I absolutely love this. It's just such a funky design. And if I just show you, that does not fit around my wrist. So if you've got a slender wrist, that'd be absolutely fine, but my wrists are nice and chubby, so I would definitely need to do a big one for myself. And then I thought I'd try it with a little bit of bling and lots of dog hair by the looks of things. And if it's going to focus in for me, there you go. So this is done with white and blue glitters in the background and a white metallic and blue metallic. And on the white metallic border I've put a blue metallic seed bead, and on the little strands that go upwards I've put a white bead on it just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. So yeah, that is what it looks like on the back, but I think it is just a one-sided bracelet. Although I suppose you could wear it on that one if you wanted to. Right, like I said, when I first saw this bracelet I was like, yes, I know exactly what I'm going to do to this bracelet. I had it in my head and I am now going to try it. So what I'll be using is these cylindrical bands, which I have got from my Mixed Metallics. And in the Mixed Metallics bag you have a gold colour like this, a kind of more champagne pale blonde gold, whites, silvers and of course blacks. So I'm just going to use the 2 combinations of black and the gold today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on that centre pin, which is your 4th pin, and I'm going to take the border to the left as always, following the first pins all the way to the first pin bar. Then I'm going to go all the way up the first pin bar, and I'm going to stop on the 2nd pin from the end before travelling inwards and finishing off on the 4th pin bar on the opposite side. Okay, then I'm going to come back to the 4th pin bar on the 1st pin, and I'm going to do the same thing. To my right I'm taking that black band, and then I'm going to go up the 7th pin all the way to the very, oh no, not to the end, sorry, to the 2nd from the end pin, and then I'm going to travel on inwards. So you want to stop right here and then travel inwards, and then when you're finished we can move on to the other parts. So be right back. Alrighty then, time to move on to the centre. Now This bracelet is so easy to do. This is definitely going to be one for a beginner to really get their teeth into, and I'm going to show you why now. I'm going to continue with my blacks because, like I said, I'm going to use 2 colours and 2 colours only. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a kind of starburst shape, but we are not going to fill in the 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock position. And what we're going to do, if I can zoom in a little bit more, tiny bit more. Right, we are going to go on the second pin bar, second pin, and we're going to go to the 2 o'clock, then directly across, and then we're going to go diagonally down, okay? And then we're going to skip the 6 o'clock one. We're going to go diagonally down to the first pin bar, first pin, across to the second pin, and then diagonally up to the third pin on the first pin bar, okay? Right, now I can zoom in a little bit more. What we're going to do is we're going to go on the second pin bar, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4th pin, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to go diagonally up to the third, across to the third, and diagonally down to the third. And then we're going to go diagonally down to the first, across to the first, and diagonally up to the first. Again, we're leaving the one that goes up and down alone. Now 4th, then we're going to jump up 2, so it's 4th, 5th, 6th pin bar, diagonally up to the third, directly across to the third, and diagonally down to the third. Then we're going to go diagonally down to the first, cross to the first, and diagonally up to the first, okay? Then you're just going to keep repeating that all the way up, so you're jumping 2 each time and then just doing the 3 at the sides but not the top and the bottom, okay? Then we're going to come across and we're going to do the same on this pin here, the 6th pin, and we're going to do it the exact same way. We're not going to do it the opposite like we normally do. So we're going to go 6th pin bar, 2nd pin, and we're going to go to diagonally up to the 7th, across to the 7th, and diagonally down to the 7th. Then we're going to go diagonally down to the 5th, across to the 5th, and diagonally up to the 5th. Then we jump 2 spaces. I'll do one more with you. So we're going to go diagonally up to the 7th, across to the 7th, and diagonally down to the 7th. Then we're going to go diagonally down to the 5th, across to the 5th, and diagonally up to the 5th. So go ahead and do these 2 sides all the way to the end, and then we'll come back and we'll start on the middle. Be right back. Okay, I'm back and I've done my stars all the way to the end. And now we're going to do the middle stars. So exact same thing as we did for these ones and these ones. I'm going to change it up and I'm going to bring in the gold now. So we're going to go, again, missing out the 12 and 6 o'clock position. And we're just going to go diagonally up, diagonally across, directly across, and diagonally down. And then diagonally down to the left, across to the left, and diagonally up to the left. And we'll do the same again as we have all the way. That's why I said it was a really simple bracelet to get your teeth into. So just go ahead and do another row of the stars all the way up to the end, and then we can move on to the next part. Okay, that's my middle starburst done. Now all we have to do is make some straight lines that are going to go on the 2nd, 4th and 6th pin bar. Now the designer has chose to do 2 bands instead of one single band chain going all the way up, and this is because he wants to push the design a little bit. So it goes, if I can get this into focus, as you can most probably just see, it raises these starbursts that we've just put on, and it raises them up slightly, and I think it's a really nice effect. So that is what we're going to do. Now I'm still using these cylindrical bands, and I am still going to go ahead with 2 because I did a quick mock-up just to see whether I actually did need the 2 with these bands, and I do, so I'm going to use them. So what I'm going to do, 2 bands each, second pin bar, I'm going to put the gold on the black, and I'm just going to take 2 bands at a time. Doesn't matter if they get a little bit twisted up, because when you sew them back to each other, you just wiggle your hook and they will fall nicely into place. So yeah, take 2 bands, go all the way up on the second pin bar to the end of the pattern, and then on the 6th pin bar we're going to go again, because it's a black star, I'm going to do a gold, and 2 bands each time. Like so, and then obviously where the gold stars are, I'm going to do a double banded line. Okay, so on the 4th pin bar we're going to go directly upwards. So you go ahead and get your 3 lines done, making sure they go up the middle of each of the star bursts, and when you're ready we can get going. Okay, so I'm finished, and this is what my loomer looks like. Now this is where Loco Kurama's original design finishes. I say this because I'm going to be putting a secondary border on, whereas the design that he sent me does not contain a secondary border. Just waiting now to hear back from him to see if it's okay to add that additional border in this tutorial. But he is on the opposite side of the world, so I'm just waiting for the time zones to catch up. So I'm going to go ahead anyway, and if it's not okay, obviously I'm going to refilm it, but I am hoping he will be understanding. Okay, right, what I'm going to do is 4th pin bar, and I'm just going to do exactly like I did with the black border at the beginning, and I'm using my golds again. And I'm just going to go all the way to the left to the 1st pin, and then I'm going to go all the way up until the 2nd pin from the end, and then bring it into the 4th pin bar, and then I'm going to bring it to the right to the 7th pin bar, and I'll deal with that later. Got a band with a few bits of uncut edging to it. Right, and then to the 7th. I mean, the only reason I'm actually adding this secondary border is because I would really like to chain it, and secondary borders obviously make that a lot easier to do. So it looks fantastic with a single border. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It is literally just because I want to chain it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and once I finish I'll come back, and if you're not doing the secondary border, show you where you need to put your cap bands, and then we can start looming. Be right back. Okay, that's my secondary border done, and I'm going to turn my loom around now, and we just need 3 cap bands. They are going to be placed on our 2nd pin bar, our 4th pin bar, and our 6th pin bar. And for this I'm going to use the primary border band colour, which is black, and we're just going to do a triple band, so it's 1, 2 and 3. So what, I might have to do a different way. These cylindrical bands are a little bit harder, so that's doubled and that's tripled, and do it once, hook it twice, bring it for the 3rd time. twice, and third time. Sorry, that wasn't very elegant, but okay. So even if you're not putting that secondary border on, you need those cap bands on those 3 positions, so go ahead and do that. And what we're going to start off with first is going to be putting this secondary border back to itself. So I'm just going to go into this cap band here and just bring the left side, which is the top band, and we're just going to go back on itself, go back into this cap band, get the top border band there and bring it back to itself, and then go all the way up the end, and then go back into this cap band and go to the right, go back into this cap band, grab that band to the 7th pin bar, go all the way up until you get to the 2nd pin from the end of your loom, bring it into the 4th pin bar. So I'm going to quickly do that and get this secondary border done, and then I'll come back and show you the next move. Be right back. Okay, so that secondary border is all stitched back to itself. Now this is where obviously the main design kicks in. We are now going to do the 2nd, 4th and 6th pin bar straight lines, and what we're going to do is take both bands at the same time and bring them back to each other all the way to the end. So I'm going to start off with my 2nd. I'm going to go into that cap band, grab both of these gold bands and bring it forward. That easy. And then go into this one, grab the 2 gold bands and bring it forwards. Go in again and bring it forwards. Now I did a quick sample of the 2 cylindrical bands done. So we're going on the 4th pin bar now, making sure we get both bands. Okay, that's not both bands, that's just one. Anyway, I did a mock-up and I absolutely loved the way that the 2 bands sit together. So I'm hoping you like it too. Right, so bring that forward, get the next 2 black bands, bring it forwards and bring it forwards again. Make sure you give it a bit of a push down before you move on, because obviously you're going to need to be stitching these back to each other. So right, and obviously you want to go into all of those bands, grab those 2 bands and bring it forward back to itself and all the way to the end. Like I said, this is a super easy design, but it is really pretty. Okay, so go ahead and do those 3 lines, and when you're ready we can move on. Okay, I'm back and that's my straight lines done. Next, what we have to do is we have to do these stars. Now, as with most designs, you work on the next thing you did in order. So it's the center first of all, and we're going to go into the 4th pin bar, 2nd pin, and we are going to grab that top band, which should be this one, and bring it back to itself. Then the next top band back to itself, and the next band back to itself. Okay, and then it should be going to left, upper left, directly across left and lower left. And then we move on to the next one. So we go up 2, we're going to go lower right, center right, upper right, upper left, center left, and then lower left. So that's what we're going to do. So it's really, really easy. Always get the top band first and just bring them back to each other. You obviously know you're doing it right because they shouldn't connect to anything other than the blue, silly me, black band that's around it. Okay, so go ahead and do that all the way to the end, and then I will jump back on to tell you what you need to do next. Be right back. Okay, so this is what your loom should be looking like as you've done all the centre part. Next, it's, surprise, surprise, exactly the same, and we're going to be doing it on this set of starbursts and this set of starbursts. So we'll start off with the second pin bar, second pin. We're going to grab that top one, which is going to go down to your right, and then it's going to go across to your right, and then up to your right, up to your left, across to your left, and then down to your left. So it's exactly the same as your centre. There's nothing different on this section. Okay, so we're just going to do one more on this bit. Go up to your left, across to your left, and down to your left, okay? And then on this side, again, all you're going to do is take those top bands, okay? So we're going to grab that top band, should be going down to my left, sorry, right, across to my right, up to my right, up to my left, across to my left, and then down to my left. Okay, so do this row first and then that row, and when you've done that we can move on to the next section. Be right back. Okay, so that's all my starbursts done, and this is what it is looking like so far. Looks like spiders on this centre bit, doesn't it? Lovely, just in time for Halloween. Right, okay, so if you have any understanding on how we do stitching up, you may have noticed that these do not actually have any way of stitching itself up. So when you take it off the loom, once you've done the border, obviously, it would all fall apart, which we don't want. So we're going to do a pull through stitch, and what we're going to do for that is these ones on the third pin bar, the black bands. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab the base part here, okay? So we're going to go in to all these bands first, grab that bottom band, so you'll see it just pulling up here. Can't really zoom in there, fortunately. I'll try and do it on another one, and then bring it upwards, okay? Then you're going to go in here, you're going to grab that bottom one, bring it up, and bring it forwards, okay? Let's see if I can just get in a little bit more. Change the lighting, perhaps that will help. Right, okay. So third pin now, we're going to go in. Now there's two bands. There's one coming up here and there's one coming here. What you want to do is you want to grab this one, okay? So you're going to go push all the way and grab that very bottom band, which belongs to this one. And if you've got it right, it will pull this slightly. And then just bring it up one, okay? And then we're going to go in again. Grab that, go forwards, and again we're going to go for the very, very bottom ones, push them all back, grab that very last one, and again it's moved, and we bring it forward like so, okay? So that's what you need to do all the way up to the end, and then we're going to do it on this one as well. Let me just zoom back out. Okay, so we're going to pull them all back, grab the bottom part, and again you will see it moving, getting tighter, and it will move slightly. Then go in, grab the bottom, bring it forwards. Go in, grab the very, very last black band and bring it forwards. And this basically is stitching the starbursts together and allowing us to do this fabulous design. So, right, okay. Go in, grab that bottom one, and bring it forward. Every other one's fairly tight because obviously that's where the join is. So just be a little bit patient and obviously take your time, making sure you have got the right one, because the last thing you want to do is pick up the wrong one and then when you take it all off the loom, you would cry, trust me, been there, done that. Right, so go ahead and do the third and the fifth pin bar. If you're not sure, rewind and have a look at this section again. And when you're ready, we'll move on to the border. Be right back. Okay, so that's all done, and what we're going to do now is just the last, or should I say the very first border that we did. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the 4th pin bar, 1st pin, grab the top band and bring it to the left, and just keep doing that, grabbing the very last band so it can cinch up every single stitch and make it nice and secure to the 1st pin bar. Then you're going to take it to the 1st pin bar all the way until the end, and then we are going to bring it into the 4th pin bar, and we're going to stop there until we come back to here, and we're going to just bring it to the right and do the exact same thing, bringing it all the way to the 7th pin bar, and then all the way up the 7th pin bar, cinching every last stitch to keep the design nice and safe. Make sure you go into all of them and go all the way to the end until you hit the 4th pin bar on the opposite side. So go ahead and do that, and I will be right back to show you how to put the C-clip on and how to take it off the loom. Be right back. Okay, so we're done. This is what it looks like, all stitched up and ready to be taken off the loom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a single band here because they are quite strong. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in to all of these pins like so and pop my band on my hook. I'm going to turn it inwards a little bit so it doesn't catch on any of the bands. Bring up through the funnel and then catch both ends on my fingers and just slot that C-clip on. Okay, so if you're using something like a 600 count band, I would suggest that you use 2 for sure, but I'm more likely going to take that one off anyway and replace it with a chain piece, so I only need 1 on to show you. And I wouldn't advise pulling it directly off. I don't think I could anyway on this design, because although the original ones where I've done the opaques was very easy and nice and flexible to do, with these mixed metallic silicone cylindrical bands, they have almost, well, it's warped a little bit, so they're very tight. So what I want to do is I'm going to go up one side first, so this will be my 7th. And just hook them over until I get to the end. I mean, if you've just spent enough time putting them on and stitching them up correctly, just spend that extra couple of minutes and hook them off correctly rather than giving it a good yank and seeing how it turns out. So, and I'm going up the first. Sorry if my hands are in the way, I just want to kind of keep pressure on the middle so that they come off easier when I hook them. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, as these are all the same level, I'm just going to go from left to right and then right to left. And I'm just going to keep doing that in a flowing motion all the way to the end. Okay, so let's see how fast I can do this, and I can show you the finishing results. One thing I do love about these cylindrical bands is that they need very little twisting at the end of it. They do hold their shape much better, they give it a cleaner look, and I really do hope that Rainbow Loom will come out with some more. I know they have the limited edition bands currently available to the American market, but they're not available here in the UK or anywhere else in the EU, which is a huge shame, to be honest, because since we've had these mixed metallic bands, I've fallen completely in love with them. But we are very, very limited and I try my hardest to only use bands that are available in my web store, and that way I can show people from this area what they can actually do with the bands that we have. It seems a little unfair sometimes, or at least I get lots of comments about how unfair it is. We don't have the full range yet, but all I can say is be patient. We are working on it. So as you can see it coming off now. And this is exactly what I had in mind when I saw this design, and I said to him, I said, yes, I can picture it right now what I'm going to do. Some of these designs I see and I know instantly what I'm going to do with them, and others I have to spend ages staring at the design before I come up with some inspiration. Oh, see, it's not, the bands are getting a little bit tight. My hand's now cramping. Right, so there you go. Alright, so it's off the loom, and this is the reverse side of it. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit. Let's see if I can get some more lighting. It seems rather dark today. Okay, so that's the reverse side of it, and that is the front side. And I saw this and I automatically thought I wanted to do a very masculine bracelet, and I think I've achieved it. Now, obviously that's my secondary border, which isn't included in his design, but I'm hoping, cross fingers, he won't mind that I've put it in. Other than that, it would be just this black part here, which I think is just as beautiful. I just really want to chain it, so it makes it easier. Okay, so there you go. I am super happy. Like I said, I don't really think there's any bands that need sorting out there. It's, well, maybe just that. There's just a couple that needs a little bit of wiggling about. But other than that, it is ready to put on and wear. Let me just show you. I know this won't fit my wrist. So that's that size there. I didn't think it was going to fit my wrist, to be honest, but there you go. Right, okay. So this bracelet is called True Confessions. It is designed by Loco who is a major Bananarama fan, who is, or they are a girl band from the 1980s, and one of their song titles was called True Confessions, which is where the name has obviously come from. Obviously the tutorial was done by me, UKManicLoomer, and I just really love that design. So I hope you will be kind enough to make a rendition and hashtag it True Confessions bracelet, and let us see all your lovely renditions. Also, if you're not subscribing to my channel, please do so. Hit that red button below. All the details on my account and on Loco account on Instagram, and obviously my Facebook account as well, are in the description box below, so please do follow. So from the UK, what I have to say now is bye.